All right, for the past week, I've been getting flooded with questions from creators asking one simple question. How do I determine if my content is child-directed or not? This video is going to show you how. All right, for all you new people out there, my name is Nate Broady, lawyer and YouTuber. You guys are a part of the Brody's bunch, which makes you the joy for today's content. Now, my videos are about LLCs, life, law, and comics. Now, today we're going to be learning about how to apply factors in a legal context, specifically the COPPA factors, to determine whether content is child-directed or not. Now, these factors can be found in two places, the FTC's website and in the regulation for COPPA. Both those links are in the description. Now, for the past 2 years, I've been teaching at a law school, and usually when I teach this lesson about factors, I use the best interest of the child factors. Now, those are the factors used in child custody cases to determine which parent or which guardian is going to get custody of the child. Today, I'm going to use the COPPA factors. All right, in this video today, you're going to learn, number one, what are factors in a legal context. We're also going to look at the relevant case law about how these factors have been applied in the past by the FTC. We're also going to evaluate these factors just to see what they actually mean. Last but not least, we're going to look at examples using these COPPA factors to help you have a better understanding on how to employ these factors in your own content or any other content. So we're all on the same page. This is not legal advice. This is an educational video on how to employ and understand factors. And we're going to be using the COPPA factors to have a better understanding of how to do that. So my first question is, what are factors? Well, factors are a set of circumstances that determine a particular outcome. Factors are considered together and weighed against each other. COPPA has 9 factors that are weighed together to determine if content is child-directed or not. And these factors are the subject matter of the content, the visual content, the use of animated characters or child-oriented activities and incentives, the music or other audio content, the age of the models, presence of child celebrities or celebrities who appeal to children, language or other characteristics of the website or online service, whether advertising, promoting, or appearing on the website or online service is directed at children, and the Commission will also consider competent and reliable empirical evidence regarding the audience composition and evidence regarding the intended audience. Now, there's a link in the description to both the FTC's website and to the actual regulation where these factors can be found. So on your screen right now, you're going to see a chart. And in the first column of the chart are just the factors. The second 2 columns, one says child-directed and the next one says not child-directed. If you satisfy all the factors, then your content is going to be considered child-directed. But consequently, if you don't satisfy any of the factors, then your content is going to be found to be not child-directed. Simple enough. Now, the confusion that I've been getting from a lot of students is that, what if I just satisfy one of the factors? For instance, my channel has animation on it. Does that mean that my entire content is child-directed? And the answer to that is more than likely no. Because remember, with factors, we have to look at all the factors to determine whether or not that content is actually child-directed or not. Now, the general rule is that you should balance the factors. If a majority of the factors point to your content being child-directed, then it's likely that your content is going to be found to be child-directed. And if a majority of factors point to your content not being child-directed, then it's probably likely that it's not going to be found to be child-directed. But it's important to note that in some instances, one factor can be so overwhelming that even if you don't meet any of the other factors, you could still be considered child-directed. Now, something like that would be an omission, that even though you don't meet the majority of the factors, but your intended audience, for instance, are children under the age of 13. Here's a clip of someone making such an admission.
You talk about audience, and when I talk to your brother, he talks about, he makes videos for people his age, even though a lot of kids see that. Who is your audience? Who do you make your videos for?
Yeah, my audience is definitely younger. I'd say it's like 8 years old to like 16 years old, and so that's where I try to like cater the content towards. I try to be as clean as possible because I do know I have a younger audience.
But just to be clear, it's generally rare that one factor will be so overwhelming that it will determine whether your content is child-directed or not. So now let's look at our first case. Lay System LLC. They were sued by the FTC in December 2015 for violating COPPA. Now, the FTC in its complaint said that Lay's content was child-directed, and did an evaluation of the factors to show us why they believe so. So for the first factor, they said, well, the subject matter were images creating cakes, pizzas, dress up, hairstyling, and learning about animal sounds, which were highly appealing to children, i.e. the subject matter of this particular app company was child-directed. They said the visual content was bright and colored. They said they had animated characters, which included dogs and children. The language used described in the app and the App Store was simple and very appealing to children. They said that the advertising and promoting of the material in the advertising were directed directly at children. And they said the audience composition, or the intended audience composition, was children, and that the company identified children as their target audience. Now, as we can see from our chart, 7 of the 9 factors for Lay Systems LLC tended to point to them being child-directed, and Lay was fined $60,000 for this content. Now again, the link to not only this particular case, but to some other cases where the FTC went through this particular analysis are in the description, and it would be great if you read them for yourself to see what the FTC is looking for in determining whether content is child-directed or not. Now, let's look at some of my content to see if we can determine whether it should be marked for kids or whether it should be marked for adults. Now, this first video is called Giving My Kid an Apple iPhone XR Epic Surprise.
I'm up to the last one.
All right, the last one. Go ahead.
Okay. That's the last one.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Sorry, Junior. Are you serious?
So in evaluating that video, the subject matter is a children's birthday party. The visual content, it's children opening up presents. Animated characters or child-oriented activities or incentives, yeah, a kid's birthday party, them opening up children's presents. The music and audio content, obviously. Children playing, opening up presents. The age of the models, they are both children under the age of 13. The presence of child-to-child celebrities, no, they're not celebrities, not yet at least. The language and other characteristics, yeah, the language used is for kids, and the characteristics are kids having fun at a birthday party. There's no advertising or promotional material directed at children, and my audience and my audience composition isn't really intended for kids. But based on these factors and looking at it in a holistically, it seems to be safe, I'm going to mark this video as child-directed, even though I believe that this video is not directed at children, but because most of the factors are satisfied, I will label this video as for children. Now, in another video called Approach the Bench, it's me and my daughter watching me and my brother work out in a gym.
Stop faking.
I told you I
You're
could
not
do it.
faking.
Move back. All right, here we go.
See, he does it. Just do it. Oh, we needed help putting him back.
Now, if you look at this content, it is us in the gym, me working out, and there's a child involved, my daughter, and we're seeing her reaction to us working out at the gym. Well, first, the subject matter of the video isn't for children. It's me working out and my daughter reacting to it. The visual content is 2 guys working at the gym. There's no animated character or any children's incentives. The musical audio content isn't for kids. Now, there is one model or character in there who's a child, which is my daughter. So yes, I would say that satisfies that factor. There are no children celebrities. The language or other characteristics, I'm not using language directly for children. The advertising and promoting of things to children, no, that's not happening. And the audience composition, the people who I'm directing this video to aren't children, they're adults. So here, I would say this video doesn't seem to be child-directed. So now we've seen a couple of examples of content that's obviously child-directed, and we've looked at some hypotheticals with my content where one piece of content I consider to be child-directed because of the content itself and applying the factors, and here's another piece of content where I didn't really consider to be child-directed, applying the factors. Now, I would say this, err on the side of caution if you're applying the factors to your own or if you're just doing a hypothetical law school exam. Now, the big takeaway from the day is that even if your content is animated, or even if you're like me who has animated characters on the back wall, you know, I have a Superman shirt on, that doesn't mean this content is automatically for children. So really understand that these factors ought to be looked at together to determine whether your content is child-directed. If you have a kid in your video, that doesn't automatically make it child-directed. It really depends on the content. And think about this, documentaries, where they'll be looking at children in, let's say, impoverished countries. There are children, you know, that may not be for child-directed content. Or even think about animated in situations like, for instance, the Cartoon Network's Adult Swim.
But yeah, do you have any money?
What is goddamn roommate clean? How about some really sad and lonely music?
Where those cartoons are clearly directed at adults, but they are animated. So really understand that there's a holistic approach to understanding how to apply these factors to particular situations. And look at the case law and look at how the FTC actually applied them in real life cases. Again, those links are in the description. All right, in this video, we learned what factors are, how to apply these factors in relevant situations. We looked at case law of how the FTC actually applied these factors against particular companies. And we looked at how to evaluate these factors through some hypotheticals using my own videos. Now, if you need more information specific to your particular situation, you need to consult an attorney in your area who's licensed in this area. Now, again, this is not legal advice. Now, in my next video, we're going to be going over elements instead of factors, because I think this video does well to go over the factors. And if you like this type of content, if you like any of my other content, be kind and subscribe. Now, if you've made it to this part of the video, there's a link to comment on the proposed rule. Now, you have till December 7th, but you can comment and tell the FTC how this rule is a good rule or a bad rule or whatever. Now, they will look at these comments and then adjust the rule accordingly. And you'll see the FTC in this little clip says, after receiving and considering extensive public comment on the rule. Now, that's what we can do now. We can go to the link below and actually comment and tell the FTC how we feel about the rule and how the rule is going to affect you, particularly if you are child-directed content. The stakeholders have a real opportunity here to get their voices heard. So that link is below. It'll say FTC comment link. Click on that link, and I would suggest you leave a comment there for the FTC. Now, if you found this video informative and helpful, I'd appreciate you subscribe and share this content, because we want to get the word out so people can understand how to evaluate their content to see if it's child-directed. And check out some of this other content here. Nope, here. And my name is Nate, lawyer, YouTuber, and I just hooked you up.